one of the most bizarre ideologies which is coming from Hollywood right now is one that only mentally unhinged people can believe in, and that is the concept of representation. Like, let me explain it to you. Let's say that you like cars. You like watching movies that have beautiful cars. It's your hobby, it's your passion. But all of a sudden you see that in the movies, cars now look like this. And, it's fine. Like, the one movie, you have a car that looks like this, and there's another, and another, and another, and all of a sudden, the overwhelming majority of movies have cars that looks like this. And you start to wonder, it's like, well, what happened to the beautiful cars? But now comes the intellectual, now comes the smart, morally righteous person that says, well, this is how cars look in reality. This is how my car looks like. This is called representation. Okay, if I don't get to see my car in a movie that looks dirty, how can I enjoy the movie? I cannot possibly empathize with the movie unless I see the car on the screen looking exactly like mine. So no more fancy cars, no more sports cars, right? Because that creates an unrealistic standard. Most cars look like mine. And because of that, you need to see it. Now, if you get upset, and if you point out, well, I pay good money to see a movie, I do not want my retina to be scarred by seeing ugly cars, then the person is going to pretend that they're a moron. They're going to pretend that they're intellectually dishonest. And also, you're comparing women with cars? Is this what you're saying? Is that you're No, I'm comparing standards of beauty. Because in art, people try to show beauty, especially in fantasy and in fiction. I'm not saying that there aren't movies where cars like this can and should exist. In fact, there are movies where cars like this must exist, depending on the story. But when the overwhelming amount of movies, where everywhere you go, everywhere you see, you notice that this is the case, then it is normal, healthy behavior, and it is expected for people to stop putting up with it. If you see cars like this in movies, then you may choose not to go watch the movie. Then you can choose to be disinterested. Because I know a lot of people that I have seen who do not watch movies. They do not like cars. They're not even interested. But they start complaining. It's like, well, why do you care? Well, I care because it's my hobby. It's what I do for entertainment. What do you want me to do in my free time? Jerk off? Like, exactly what do you expect me to do when I stop working? Personally, I like watching movies with cars, but apparently you are happy and excited that that is being taken away from me. That entertainment is now being subjected to this unrealistic standards of beauty because, we move the pendulum from this to this. We can't have something even in the middle now. And you're actually encouraging this behavior. So, what do you want me to do? I got nothing else to do besides complain. My time has now been freed up so I can bitch and whine on forums, and it pains you, doesn't it? It pains you because in reality, this is your fucking car, isn't it? This is your car. You don't like driving, but you have this car that's sitting in your backyard, and you don't take care of it, you don't take it to a mechanic, you don't even try to clean it, and deep inside it shames you. Doesn't it? It shames you because you notice that there are other people with normal cars driving around that do take care of them, and they don't look like the ones in the movies, but they look far better than yours. And because of that, you're thinking that if in every magazine, in every movie, in every video game, the cars would look like yours, they would be normalized, and people would stop shaming you. But no, in reality, people are disgusted with your car, okay? No one wants to get in it, no one wants to drive it, and it goes without saying that absolutely no one is going to pay $70 to see your car. They can do that for free. They don't have to pay money. And then, of course, is the other argument. It's like, well, can't you enjoy a movie regardless of the cars? Why do you care about the cars so much? I mean, the overwhelming movie or the gameplay, because it's fucking distracting, that's why. Alright? It's fucking distracting, it's everywhere. And when I see a car and it looks like a fucking wreck, I am just reminded of the reason that why it's in there. It's to please you, who doesn't even care about the movie or the game, and it's the fact that you have a shitty car and you feel ashamed of it, and somehow your insecurities need to be projected onto the big screen. So this is why people are also outraged, because they're astonished. They're astonished with the balls that companies have to bring us ads on our holy screens with the audacity to ask us for our hard-earned money. We actually work for our money for a living. We actually put in an effort on our jobs. We actually try. when we go to work to create something that is good. And you come, you corporation, you bring that shit onto my screen and you expect me to give you my money. The only thing that I'm giving you is laughter. I can stay disinterested longer than you can stay solvent. And for all the people that are like, oh, you care too much. Yes, absolutely. This is my hobby now. I have found a new hobby. Seeing how people get agitated and angry and defensive because I don't like looking at this shit is now my new hobby. Their outrage, their defensive stance, their arguments when they pretend they don't understand what we're talking about, when they're playing an idiot, because they're smart, but they're trying to pretend that they don't get the point. That is what makes me happy now. And apparently, there's a lot of people like moi. Because I do go on the internet, and it seems that culture is indeed shifting. On every forum, everywhere you go, people are not only saying that they don't like these types of cars, but they're starting to vote with their money. And seeing how corporation after corporation is getting bankrupt pleases me greatly. Okay, you wanted to die on this hill. Like, we actually tried to warn you. It's like, hey, we're not going to purchase toys like this. We don't want this on our t-shirts. This is not cool. And you put your fingers in your ears and went, la 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 la, what do these people know? You know better. Okay, congratulations. Now I am satisfied when I see these companies ending up broke. Because in the beginning, I actually cared. In the beginning, I genuinely had an emotional investment. And I was like, well, I don't want these franchises to go broke. I actually like these franchises. I like these movies with cars. I want them to succeed because they're my entertainment. But now that I see that they literally don't care about me, that I do care about them, I actually want them to fail. It pleases me greatly when I hear that another blockbuster movie ended up not making a profit. Yes, happy. When those people end up going home and have to justify that they don't have to put food on the table, I'm like, well, at least your dirty fucking car got to be displayed now, didn't it? At least you got to show that to the world. So, at the end of the day, you can still watch Japanese movies. They still have good cars. South Korea makes movies with great cars. Unfortunately, America is just incapable of. Because all the Americans have ugly cars in their backyards, and they don't want to be the ones that have to clean them. They don't like being ashamed. So because of that, they want their cars to be represented and considered the new standard of beauty. This is how the new car should be made. But all jokes aside, isn't it interesting though? Isn't it fascinating? Like when you try to promote a product, whatever that is, if you're trying to promote a car, like we just discussed, why is it that the company always makes sure that the car looks squeaky clean? Even when the car is dirty in the commercial, because it went through mud and dirt and whatever, why is it that when they open the door inside, it's impeccable? Why is it that in commercials, they don't show a little bit of realism? Like, for example, when you see someone purchasing a bottle of Coke, why doesn't the person take a disgusting burp after drinking the soda? Because that's what in reality happens. I burp sometimes after drinking the soda. Why can't we have representation of that? Why don't we have representation when we're talking about products? What is it with this unrealistic standards? When everyone in a commercial is happy and cheering, and why do they do that? These are the questions that we should ask, right? Because maybe we're going to figure out why so many movies recently aren't ending up making a profit.